how corn changes your brain.
Do you recommend that young males just not look at pornography?
I think the majority of people report no problems from watching pornography.
I think our minds became so insensitive, so used to it, that we don't even care anymore. I'm not sure about the side effects. Of course, that there are so many side effects proven also, that if you are watching porn, it will affect your brain. And I think we are in this stage that all of our brains are affected now. You can't just say, no, I don't want to watch and then stop. It's everywhere now. And when I speak, for example, in some countries, I'm not talking about Middle East, for example, but in some countries where it's even blocked, you can access it easily, especially on websites or platforms like X, for example. Instagram, we don't even need to go over there on Instagram. We don't even need to start a topic over there when it's visible 100% also. The gooning culture which is over there. But regardless, I don't think it's that simple to just say I want to stop and then you stop. It's part of the culture now. It's part of how 99% of humanity is functioning. And I was really surprised. I was reading also some research. Females also are adapting this. Women, they are carelessly watching now. We are in a very, very difficult spot with this shit. That it's easily accessible. No one is talking about it. When even someone talks about it, it's being ignored. No one cares anymore. So it's between you and yourself. If you want to stop, you need to limit it somehow. People will not help you online.
So, some people will say it's healthy. I don't know that it's healthy or not. I think
In no possible way it's healthy.
it's like the way that you use it, just like any other addictive substance. So I don't think it is all bad. That being said, there are a couple of things that are really problematic. The first is that pornography is getting more neuroscientifically engaging. Here's the scariest statistic about addiction. So 5% of people under the age of 30 had erectile dysfunction, maybe 20, 30 years ago.
These things, when you cross the limits and you reach this point, then it's of course you need to stop it somehow. I think you need to start taking medications also.
Numbers climb to 20%. And a lot of that erectile dysfunction, if you define what erectile dysfunction is, it is inability to maintain an erection through the completion of the sexual act. So it's not that a lot of people think that this means they can't get hard. It's not that they can't get hard. They can get an erection. It's just they can't.
But you can't maintain it. This is a huge problem, actually. Mid intensity and mid excitement, you just go off. This is completely bad.
Can't achieve orgasm or climax. So I think we're seeing a lot of problems with pornography. We're seeing a lot of very young people having erectile dysfunction, being unable to achieve climax through penetrative intercourse.
But I don't think it's only about watching porn that it will affect your erectile stuff. I think it's also about diet and how our bodies are acting and all of these things. We are even breathing intoxicated air, and our diet also is very bad. So all of these factors, I think they play a role in this.
It's affecting the brain a lot more. So the colors are brighter, things are jigglier, things are bouncier. There's virtual reality, 8K, 4K.
Younger kids might get affected, but I think for a mature man, which is actually also, I think now it's maybe 10 to 20% for a mature man, because even older men are idiots, actually. Especially when you're talking about simps. They don't even know the difference.
The bigger problem that I'm seeing, or the scarier problem, is pornography used to be something of passive consumption. So the porn is over there and I'm over here. There's no emotional connection. There's no parasocial relationship.
And this is what I'm trying to talk about. It's literally now part of your life. You can't deny it. People lie to each other when they say that they stopped, for example, watching porn or they are not watching. I've seen people lie that they stopped for 3-4 years, which is not correct. 100% not true. There is no way in hell that you can even stop for a month, maybe.
The really scary thing is with the things like OnlyFans, now the person that you're watching pornography for is interacting with you. They're saying thank you. They're appreciating you. You're asking them. And
he's even including OnlyFans in this. And I'm telling you literally, when even porn sites are blocked, people are finding ways to find it. You can easily access to an X, for example, on Twitter. Or Instagram. Instagram is way worse when even most of the population are over there.
And that they're sending you a picture or making a video just for you. So I'm seeing a lot more scary parasocial relationships develop. I'm seeing emotional affairs. So now, like, we've added a dimension of our brain, the empathic circuit, the social circuits, the relationship circuits are now starting to activate with pornography. So that's like a whole different ballgame. And then there's a lot of data just about ease of access and things like that. I think pornography addiction, it's interesting, a very strong
Exactly, the ease of access. Now, it's not a new point to say, but with the ease of access, which anyone can access, I think out of the countries or away from countries that are blocking such websites, in other countries, it's easily accessible. You can literally Google it. Like, Google the website and it will open directly. Some people are not used to this. You need to activate VPNs, you need to search your way or get your way through websites to reach the video that you want to watch. It's all within our culture now, between guys and girls also. This is really insane.
risk factor is pre-pubescent exposure to pornography.
Young kids are on the
Majority of
internet.
people actually get exposed
I think this is speaking maybe after 90s, kids of the 90s, for example, my age, when you talk about 95 and up, we were exposed to a very, very young age, in a very young age, to porn, which is very bad actually for our brains. And now it's calibrated. It's there in your brain. You can't just escape it like this.
their first pornography now before they hit puberty. But there's something about when you get exposed to pornography when your brain is developing before puberty, it increases your risk factor it increases the risk of developing addiction later in life. So there is something just
This is what I'm trying to talk about now. I will not lie. I can't lie. And I will not speak on behalf of all the population. But most probably, this is what we are suffering from. People will not easily just say, yes, I'm addicted, for example, or we are watching on daily basis. But this is the reality. This is what we are suffering from. And when you go to research, for example, and like count numbers on porn websites, it proves that because millions are visiting these websites daily. Websites are being visited daily. So you can't escape this unless they completely block it. And then the addiction will go away. This is not a serious addiction. It's not a serious addiction. We're not sure what will happen next if you block everything. But I think the population can control themselves. Or at least, we'll go back to our maybe roots where you need to get married. Emotional connection happens again. Physical connections happens even more than before. Because even now, married couple are suffering from this. Married people are literally suffering from these things. It's now even considered cheating when you are married and you watch porn. That shows that it's lost. Emotional connection is lost.
special about sex in the way that it affects our brain. We're talking about salience and things like that. We've basically evolved this whole thing to procreate. So when we get visual stimuli, when we get auditory stimuli, it turns
It all goes. It all goes. Even and this can be also connected or related to birth and declining in birth that's happening worldwide. When you talk about South Korea, when you don't have proper Asian countries, for example, when the testosterone level is not that high, men, they are either gays or you're watching more porn and women are being ignored or like this emotional connection is not happening.
our brain on in a very profound way. We see a lot of emotional suppression. So what a lot of people don't realize, I work with a lot of people who struggle
Yeah,
with pornography.
exactly.
It really, the emotional regulation component is huge. They're not horny. It's not necessarily a lot of masturbation, which is what a lot of people assume. Oftentimes it's like second screen kind of stuff. It's watching pornography like when you use the restroom and just like you're not jerking off or anything. You're just like watching porn.
So sort of like a numbing out type of activity.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? So this is
Happens.
key thing to remember is in order for something to be addictive, it needs two things. It needs to give us pleasure and it needs to take away pain. And as we see addiction, over time, it shifts away from pleasure into taking away pain. When we become dependent on something is when we require it to numb ourselves. So I think we're also seeing more pornography because life for everybody, young people and young men is getting harder. So as we become more socially isolated, it's harder to find a girlfriend, as we get indoctrinated by social media, as we become delusional because of social media, as our social skills atrophy, like all of these things are happening.
It's pretty bleak